So what do you do if your small business is failing and you realize that you're going to have to shut the doors, but you've got creditors coming after your business? Do you file bankruptcy on the business? Watch our next video and find out. So I probably get this question at least 2 or 3 times a week. Someone will call in and they will announce to me that they need to file a business bankruptcy. So whenever I hear this, my radar goes up real quick, because probably 99.9% of the time, no, they don't really need to file a business bankruptcy. They probably need to file a personal bankruptcy because they've personally guaranteed probably their business lease, credit cards, maybe a business loan. So they're definitely probably looking at a personal bankruptcy, but most of the time it doesn't make sense to file a business Chapter 7 bankruptcy. And here's why. A business does not receive a discharge of their debt like a person. The whole point of doing a business Chapter 7 bankruptcy is simply to allow a trustee to step in, liquidate whatever assets that business has, and make a distribution to the creditors. So if you have a business that has maybe a lot of inventory, equipment, whatnot, it really may make sense for you to do a Chapter 7 bankruptcy just to allow a nice wind down of the business. So a Chapter 7 trustee would step in, they would auction your equipment, your inventory, even intellectual property, if there was value to it. So they would step in and do all of that, pay the creditors, and then they close the case. And for a lot of folks, I get it, they just want a nice tidy bow on it to say, I'm done, the business filed bankruptcy, there's nothing else to do. But understand, if your business doesn't really have any assets, you're basically just paying an attorney to file this for your peace of mind. And maybe that's worth it to you. I always like to just tell my clients that up front, because I don't ever want anyone to think that I'm not being, completely honest with them, and that I'm just trying to make attorney fees, for filing this case, because the whole purpose, again, is doing a liquidation and just repayment of creditors. But most of the entrepreneurs or small business owners that I work with, their company is, if it's a services company or whatnot, there's no assets. You can't sell a person, so there's no asset that can be liquidated to be distributed to creditors. So if you're having problems with your business, definitely there may be personal guarantees, because most small business owners have to file, sign a personal guarantee. So that business credit card that you have, even if it's not popping up on your personal credit report, because a lot of times they don't, chances are you had to provide your social and your personal guarantee to that card. So once your business defaults, they will come after you. If you signed a lease, most landlords will make you personally sign leases for this very reason, so that they have someone to go after if a business folds. So those may be very real reasons where you need to, look at filing a bankruptcy personally. Also, you do need to keep this in mind. When a business files a Chapter 7 bankruptcy, a business is a separate legal entity. So the trustee will step in and they will look at the business records or whatnot. And I have seen this, not with my clients, but I've seen it in bankruptcy court where a person will file a bankruptcy for their business, but then when the trustee looks at distributions that the business made to the owner, the trustee will go after the owner to claw back some of that money, because it's deemed to be, a preferential transfer. It wasn't just a regular salary. The owner pulls out $100,000 and then files bankruptcy in the business. Well, of course the trustee is going to go after that so they can pay the creditors. So sometimes I've seen people file a bankruptcy for their business because they think they're doing the right thing, and they really just shot themselves in the foot. Whereas if they just, if they had just filed a personal bankruptcy later, they would have been fine. But now, in their own business, they've got a trustee coming after them to take money that they've received. And sometimes, maybe the withdrawals or the draws were kind of sporadic, but that it was because that's how they were paying themselves. But they've now created this huge headache for themselves, and it's going to be expensive because you're going to have legal counsel to just sort through all of that. So, if you're thinking about filing a business Chapter 7, you really, 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 really need to evaluate if it's necessary. And of course, every case is different, and we're always happy to sit down and take a look and go over concerns. And I have some clients, I just did a business case a few weeks ago, and the client was like, yep, I hear you. I know everything you're saying. I've already gone through my books. There's been no crazy withdrawals or whatnot. I just want to wind this down, and that's fine. But just make sure before you do embark on a business Chapter 7 bankruptcy that you look at all the angles. If you ever have any questions about business Chapter 7 bankruptcy or any bankruptcy questions in general, don't hesitate to contact us.